At On a Divine Note, we explore a wide range of topics that nourish the soul and body.
From healing and wellness to relationships and spirituality, we dive into the mind, self-care, trauma, love, and so much more.
Join us as we create a space for growth, connection, and holistic well-being. Welcome to On a Divine Note.
Hello and welcome back to On a Divine Note. Today we are joined by a registered dietitian and published author in Baltimore, Maryland, a native of the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and a certified foodie. She earned her Bachelor of Nutrition and Dietetics at the University of the District of Columbia, graduating at the top of her program, and completed her dietetic internship at the University of Maryland Medical Center. She has clinical experience in a variety of settings, including long-term care, surgical weight loss, and is now a certified diabetes and care education specialist. She maintains a realistic, patient-centered approach to health, achieving a sustainable, well-rounded quality of life. Please help me welcome Tornia C. Anderson Morgan.
Woo! Great.
Thank you.
I was like, I need to get her name right.
Yes.
Tonia.
You got it. You got it. Yeah. You got it.
She had to get me straight, y'all.
Yeah,
I was messing it up with my American accent. How y'all feeling?
Good.
Wonderful. Great day today.
Amazing.
Yes.
We are so excited to have you.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yay.
So we always start on a divine note with a mental check-in.
Mhm.
So do we have our bell?
We
Yes,
do. Got it queued up,
Do our bell.
y'all.
Mental check-in.
That's cute.
So we just want to know how you're feeling mentally today. We'll go around and say it.
I'm feeling pretty good. I think the majority of the times if the sun is out, I'm happy. I'm at peace. I'm willing to do things and go outside and meet people. And I'm feeling really good. I'm content. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yes. Yes.
Mentally. Who wants to go next?
You know, mentally, I am here. I am present, and I feel good. I do. I feel like life is just beautiful.
Yes.
Like a butterfly, you know?
Love
just
it.
flying with all my beautiful colors.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
That's how I feel today. Yes. Pretty
Beautiful.
much all the time.
Yeah. Piggybacking off of y'all, I feel exactly the same. I feel happy today. I feel like vibrant and like, I was dancing in the car on my way here.
Yes,
Like,
you
I just
look
have,
like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just have like a lot of good positive energy today. So,
Beautiful.
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you.
You know, mentally, I feel really present. I'm going to piggyback off of you.
Yeah.
I feel really, really present and in a place where I'm ready to take the next steps that I need to take in my life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. I'm happy
Love
everybody's
it.
doing good.
Yes.
All right.
it.
So for the icebreaker, it's a foodie twist because we know that you're a foodie.
Hey.
Okay.
If you could eat only one dish from Trinidad and Tobago for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
Why do we have to limit things to just
Oh my
Okay,
God.
fine. I think everybody Trini would know what I would say.
Oh, wow.
I love it.
I'm going to go with doubles.
Oh, wow. What is this?
Okay.
Doubles is a street food.
Okay.
And why I'm going with doubles is because it's small, it's neat, it's friendly for different types of diets. So if you're vegan, if you're doing vegetarian, so you have like a nice curried chana stew that goes inside like two really soft, what we call bara. So it's
Okay.
made of flour, and you can put different toppings on there, different condiments that are sweet, savory, spicy.
Oh,
And
wow.
just, you could do a billion things with it, and it's just so amazing.
That sounds
That's
good.
what I wanted.
Do you make it
I was
too?
literally going to ask her. Do you
don't?
make it?
Don't.
Really?
I know you missed it.
I dare not butcher it like that, but when if you want to get some really good doubles, like in Brooklyn, where there's a lot of Trini and Caribbean people, you going to get some good ones
Okay.
like nearby. There's some spots in Maryland too that I'm now exploring.
Okay.
Well, we'll
Yeah.
have to find
Yeah.
out which one they are because I want to
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Me too.
really good.
That sounds really good.
It's
I've
so
never heard of
good.
it.
Yes. You can't call yourself a Trini if you don't like doubles.
Okay. Good to know.
Love it.
Okay.
My personal opinion.
Okay, I
That
love
is
it.
fun.
Yes.
Now, do you ever find your dietitian background sneaking in when you're trying to enjoy food?
Yes, because that's part of it. You have to enjoy food.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
ever turn it off. It's always there. So when I'm enjoying food, I'm enjoying food. I'm not counting the calories on everything.
Good.
I know that in this moment I'm having fun. This
Yes.
is temporary. It's all about dose and how frequently you have your fun foods, and that's it. I'm not going to be guilty for enjoying food.
I love
Yeah.
that.
I love
See,
that.
now I
I
won't feel
do.
guilty.
Right. Same.
I do.
Yeah,
amazing.
right.
Yeah, it's always on. That's part of it. Yeah, 'cause it's a
Yes.
lifestyle change. So if you don't do it every day, all the
All the
time,
time.
you'd be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that you said like that. You know, because most people think they have to count the calories, they have to count the carbs.
Yeah.
They can't have this. They
can't
can't
have
do
that. Right.
Like they gotta
Feel guilty.
you know, and feel guilty when they do. So,
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. There might be instances where you need to be much more mindful
Right.
than
Right.
the average person. If you have like a really serious clinical complication and you do want to kind of double check, and
Yes.
it's going to be not very different from someone who has allergies.
Yes.
If you have peanut allergies, you're not going to go around having all
Right.
type of nut food.
Right.
You want to
Right.
be
Right.
careful.
Right.
But yeah, within reason. You're not like losing your mind and trying to, calculate how much exercise you need to do to undo the damage.
Right.
Because
Right.
We're not doing
Right.
that.
Right.
all the time.
Man.
Wow.
funny.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so we are going to hop into your journey and your story.
Okay.
So take us back to Trinidad and Tobago. What was food and culture for you like growing up?
Almost everything.
Okay.
Okay.
And I mean that's in a literal sense because I grew up in a food business with my family. So my mom was always cooking. That was her thing. Yeah. So from very, very young, there was always food around me. Food was always accessible, and it wasn't necessarily a discussion about health. That didn't really come into play until myself as an adult much later.
Yes.
But earlier on, food was always around for
Yeah.
the most part. When she was cooking food was there.
Yeah.
And different types of food, and usually food that's more common to us culturally. On the Indo side, on the Afro side, and just so much to enjoy about it. But I loved food. I can remember drinking juice all the time versus wanting to drink water all the time.
Yeah.
So even things like that, and juices that are natural and native to us back home that you don't
Yes.
often
Freshly made.
find here.
Yeah.
It's just so common to just grab a fruit and make some juice. At least back in the day.
Yeah.
That was it was everything and fun. Like
was fun.
growing up, you don't really think about health unless that's a discussion in your household.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
That's
And
true.
it wasn't
Really
in my
don't.
household.
It was not a discussion in yours. That's what I was going to ask. Okay. Yeah. And you said so the culture for you was just like fun. And
Yeah, for the most part. And always looking to try new things, fun things. And that's why I feel like I was always just a foodie. And for most people, we get pleasure from eating foods.
Right.
So when we talk about people's culture, it's one of the easiest way to get embedded or introduced into someone else's cultures by trying their food.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
You're right.
And you yourself, if you really love how a particular dish is made and
Yeah.
you share that with somebody that you care for, if they don't like it, you might feel a little bit offended.
Really? And I've heard that before.
I'm like that. And I'm not even.
Right.
Thursday.
But I did. I
Yeah.
heard that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you really can get offended if they don't like it.
because it's a personal thing. Because you feel like they're
Yeah.
insulting your culture
Right.
in some way.
Yeah.
Culture.
Yeah. So I've grown to understand why people might do that.
Yes.
And in dietetics, we're trained to not to yuck someone else's yum.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's
Wow.
the phrase that we use to describe that.
I actually like that phrase.
Don't
Yuck
yuck
yeah.
someone else's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
And that's true.
Yeah.
And we do it all the time. Just as people, we'll turn around
do.
and like, oh, I don't want
Like,
that.
ugh.
It's like I know when I was visiting down south, and they just cook a whole so much food.
Yeah.
you know, and they do that breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
And so you're always eating. And I was like, oh no, I can't. I can't. And they was so upset with me, like, well, this is how we do down here. But I was full off of the breakfast I had,
Right.
Like, still eat.
And they said it's still
Right,
eat.
because that's what they do.
Right.
Yeah.
But you get up early in the morning, you eat breakfast about 6, maybe 7, and then you have your lunch, which is about 12, and then you have your dinner about 3 or maybe 4 or 5. That's a lot of food.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't take it, but they got upset.
Yeah.
Like, you better
Oh,
eat
wow.
this
I
food.
thought it was
Right.
crazy, but now I understand.
I understand it.
They like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is how we do it.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes it's just the practice of the household or the culture. Sometimes people don't understand if you might have a dietary restriction, but then it's kind of your responsibility to let them know, like, hey, I can't eat XYZ. I appreciate it because they love you. That's why they're
Right.
showing. They want you to
Okay.
participate in something that they believe is whole and dear to them and they feel so strongly about it. And
Wow.
this is why they're could be a little bit humiliated even, a little bit if you don't participate. They might feel less than, they might feel all sorts of things. Yeah, so we do want to, if you feel like you really can't indulge in all of their practices, you can just kind of talk to them.
And
Be
just-
like, hey,
yeah.
oh, you know what? I really appreciate this. Like, I
Right.
love that you're sharing this with I really can't hold anymore. Like, I'm
Yeah.
stuffed.
Right.
Right.
I promise I'm gonna have more later or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
I want to appease to them a little bit because
Yeah.
they have the right frame of mind. Like they're
Oh,
doing it out of
yeah.
love. You know,
Yeah.
it's well intended. They're not
Yep.
trying to just
Just
stuff you.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is pretty common.
It is. Yeah. So, what sparked you to become a dietitian in the first place?
Yeah, being introduced to health problems.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so I was partying a lot in my late teenage years, early adulthood, doing a bunch of things. And you start giving out, gaining weight rapidly, just other things. And I was introduced to just the whole idea of health and how it can help contribute to some of these challenges. And that little bit of introduction made me pay attention to like my family's health. And I have family members who have different types of chronic diseases and maybe multiple or who have died from chronic diseases such as diabetes and other things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So if so much of this is in my family, I don't want to be next.
Right.
So I'm going to make an effort to dive in, educate myself a little bit more, and at least, explore this whole idea of healthy eating and a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
And it didn't happen overnight, like slowly but surely over some years, actually. Then I got into fitness. I'm like, oh, exercise is a thing I'm supposed to be doing every once in a while.
Right.
That can benefit me. This
Right.
is nice. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do some of that. And then got into fitness and realized that nutrition was such a big role. It wasn't as simple as eating fruits and grass all day.
Right.
So complex. There's so many nuances. I like to tell people it's like 50 Shades of Grey. It's definitely not black and white.
Right.
And so I just, my science curious mind, I'm like, oh, there's a whole field of people that does this for a living. Awesome.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of that. Yeah.
I can get paid for doing my own
Right,
research.
right.
Yeah.
It can help me out too, and I can help
Exactly.
loved
Others out.
ones. It's a
Yeah.
profession where you can apply to yourself. That's just going to benefit you in your everyday choices.
Yeah.
And your loved ones. So I'm like, okay, I could get into this.
Right.
Yeah, it's all right.
So then
Yeah.
from there you went to school and
Yes, I went to the University of the District of Columbia in DC,
Right.
which was so great. It was an HBCU.
nice.
I had a really, really good experience there.
Wow. That's a good.
Yeah, it was amazing. The teachers, the professors were amazing. The director of the programs, I think I had maybe three during my time there.
Yeah.
They were all amazing, such great leaders. They were very supportive.
Wow.
I feel like it was just a very intimate setting.
Yeah.
Love
I
that.
love
I was
that.
very much nurtured on the academic side.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always the best.
Exactly.
Have that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Love it.
And I was going to ask one more thing. So was this right out of high school? Or did you choose
no.
another path and then you
Yes.
got
Okay.
introduced to
Yes.
this?
So I'm like a second career person into dietetics. I've only completed my undergrad in 2019.
Okay.
Before that, I dabbled in a bunch of other things while I was in Trinity.
Trying to
I lived
figure it
there as
out.
a young
I love
adult
that.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's important for younger people to
It
just
is.
explore
Yes.
Yes.
a bunch of things. And I've seen so many people who've ventured down academic paths that they regret later.
Yeah.
And I can afford to try everything and then regret it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I wanted to explore things. So growing up in food business, like I mentioned, with my family. I did that for other people as well. So I used to manage a small cafe. I worked a little bit in telemarketing. I did a little bit of tile something, a bunch of random little things here and there.
Right. A little bit of everything.
But it's always been like hospitality centered in some, since I grew up with people, and I've been in the public eye since very young. So I love to see new people all the time.
Oh, I love that.
So I've met people from all walks of life, all corners of the globe, and it's just such amazing. And I feel like it broadens your perspective when you meet different people from different places that you probably may not have been or probably will not be in a reasonable amount of time in your lifetime.
Yeah.
So, it's a great way to just kind of widen your perspective on different things.
Yeah, for sure. I 100% agree with that.
I love that.
Yes. Let's see what we have here. So, how did your journey lead you from the islands to excelling in nutrition and dietetics here in the U.S.?
Kind of a little bit more of the same there.
Yeah.
I'm a go with the flow type of person.
Yeah, I love that.
I didn't grow up thinking, oh, I can't wait to be a dietitian.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like now there's not many people that want that because it's not like on the top tier scale of pay and that type of thing. So I don't feel like a whole bunch of kids are walking around with that mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially now that you could be TikTok famous.
Right.
You
viral online.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, I've done a couple things. At one point, I wanted to be a gymnast. I wanted to be a mortician. I wanted to be all sorts of things. I would just kind of go with the flow. I mean, I did come here as a teenager and lived in New York for a little bit, which was fun. I got exposed to so much. I went back home for a little bit, finished growing up into adulthood, and I just knew I wanted to come back here and enjoy. There's just so much variety and so much things to offer.
Yeah.
So just slowly but surely, I just kept stumbling upon things that interest me.
Yeah.
But then I felt like the intersection was interest, what I'm good at, which is social relations, anything that's public, interactive, my curiosity. Like I love science, anything science. Neil deGrasse Tyson is one of my guys. Like, yeah, like I have no interest in professionally doing anything with space.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in it.
Yeah, but it's interesting. There's so much details. So because nutrition and dietetics is a science-based, it's an evidence-based type of practice, I get to include all the elements that I enjoy doing and get paid for it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is awesome.
So why not? Exactly.
And it benefits me.
Right.
So I just felt like it hit all the basic things. If you're going to choose a profession, I feel like you should start with things that you're already good at.
Yes. Yeah.
As some sort of baseline compass for direction and where you're headed.
You're absolutely right about
I agree with that. Yeah.
Wow. You have so many different things. And even that actually brings me into my question, just like far as in your career path and your purpose. We're going to talk about, now if you worked in so many different settings, now you have the long-term care. So I'm going to name some. Long-term care, surgical weight loss, and now diabetes, which setting would you say shaped you the most and why?
I don't feel like one shapes me more or less than the other.
Yeah.
I feel like I maintain like a really wide lens
Yeah.
for everything that I do. So they all have nuances.
Yeah.
They all have challenges.
Yeah.
There's the difference in subgroups clinically. And in terms of like a population, people who have diabetes, people who have had bariatric surgery, for example. And then there's the other groups by demographics or socioeconomic status. So people who are very much underserved, which is, I think, is the most challenging group of people for me, being such a strong empath because they have a lot to go through. And when you see a lot of these people every day and you feel all of their struggle, there's only so much you can do to help them. That's the toughest part of the job for me, dealing with that population.
Right.
But I wouldn't say like it keeps me grounded, but it kind of does keep me grounded because I know what it's like to not have a lot.
Right.
And I see others that have way less and those who are fighting over getting so much more, even if they have billions already, and they're trying to have more billions. And there are so many people who have not even regular access to food.
Right.
It's so
Right.
painful to watch sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, so that's
actually a question for you because, like you said, you see people who, let's just say a diabetic, for instance, and they don't have access to
Right.
the proper food,
Right.
you know, and that's really tough. And then they eat in the things that they only could afford, you know. So
yeah.
I guess I'll say, even in your experience, like, what would you, even if they only have access to like beans and rice and those type of things, like, what would you tell
Yeah,
somebody?
they can eat beans and rice.
Yeah, I'm
They
just
can eat
saying,
beans and rice and be
anything, bread,
healthy.
anything that you would,
Right.
you know, can
Right.
think of, or chips, whatever it is
They
that
only
they
have access to
only
the
have access
unhealthy
to the unhealthy
option.
options.
Right.
Yes, that part.
Yes, and sadly, there's a lot of that going on, especially as of late, since a lot of funding has been pulled
Right.
from a lot of programs that help people with reduced access to
Right.
foods
Yep.
or healthful foods.
Yes.
Sometimes you have access to the foods, like you say, and it may not be conducive to your healthy diet.
Yeah.
What's going to help you become better?
Right.
And sometimes it's a challenge in just consuming the food itself. Like, say if you're a person that has disabilities in your hands and you can't even open the canned foods, or you can't feed yourself if you don't have assistance in the home.
You're right.
Some people have lost their coverage to have that happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's so much going on there. But at least with a dietitian, the difference is we can make the best out of your
what we have.
circumstances.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a
I
good
love that.
thing.
Because many people assume tons of people that I have served who would have had diabetes or do have diabetes and working on managing it. My doctor told me to eat less sugar and more fruits, and so they do that. But even having too many fruits in one sitting
No.
can lead
sugar.
to a challenge.
Yes.
So just the way in which what they do and how to utilize the resources that they do have access to in the least harmful way and the most beneficial way.
Exactly.
Yeah, sometimes just tapping into some free resources
You're right
like
about that.
pantries, some
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
And maybe partnering them with, there's some like faith-based organizations that have like a drive-through service or even a delivery service that they might deliver to someone who's homebound and may not be able to go out or physically, procure foods themselves.
That's
so
amazing.
there's
That's actually good that they do that.
They have that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
Thank you
very
for that.
it's not very like
Yeah.
available to everybody all the
Right.
time.
Yeah.
It's such a niche little thing and we need more of those. And again,
Yes.
unfortunately, we're having less
Right.
resources that's funneling into this type of service.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least it exists and we could try to make the best out of this person's situation.
Exactly,
right.
and that's a beautiful thing. And the one other question I'm not even gonna. I have a question on here, but this is my personal question. Y'all. I just have to know. I'm really into this. Stress. Stress. It's not always about food that they eat. It's about some. It can be stress.
Yeah.
So what? Do you have a lot of those?
I think anyone who is not living at ease, who is like either living check to check,
Yes.
or anyone who has a half of a functioning brain in the U.S. survey right now,
Right.
is stressed to some degree.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is either we were suppressing some of it just so we can get through life. Like we did our mental check, we're all feeling good.
Yeah.
We're all feeling good right now in this moment, and that's great. And we want to celebrate that. But
Right.
sometimes you might be faced with reality.
Yeah.
It may not be your immediate reality, but just watching the news and you see how many people are suffering and you might, just kind of feel for them.
Yeah.
So there's that type of stress that's just kind of systemic.
Yeah.
There's being a person of color just existing in a professional space that could be stressful.
Right.
Depending on your corporate environment or so forth, that can be stressful. And stress does impact blood sugar for those who have diabetes, and stress can impact your health. So when I see clients, I double check, hey, do you have access to a therapist of some sort,
Right.
a mental health profession of some sort? And I have a nice list to refer if they are interested or
love that.
leaking
Yeah.
for, seeking like a new mental health provider. But it's definitely a thing. And some people are more sensitive to stress tied to digestive disorders or just any type of GI distress. So gastrointestinal, like, how you get anxious and you maybe want to throw up, or people who have other intestinal diseases like intestinal bowel disease or IBS, IBD, that can also be aggravated by stress. And there's just so much of it going on.
Wow.
Isn't it
There's
so?
just so much.
It's so many things. That's why I wanted to ask because a lot of times people is just thinking it's about eating, but stress plays a big part in diabetes as well.
Yeah. And if you're a person who have a multitude of chronic health conditions,
Yes.
let's paint person X. You have diabetes, you have high blood pressure, you're on Medicaid or something, you have that type of coverage. Maybe the coverage changed and now your medications are not covered. All that you needed, a particular pharmaceutical regimen that you got used to that was working. And because of changes, maybe you're no longer covered for half.
Yes.
That's a whole stress right there.
Right.
I know people who've been recently let go out of the government and they are trying to figure out how are they going to survive the next couple of months. And that is stress for them. Because not everybody got severance.
Right.
Yeah.
So the financial stress can severely impact your health. It can impact your decisions when you're just about to eat. You can forget to take medications because you're so stressed out. Like so many things.
And you can forget to eat. A lot of
Yeah.
times people do
Yeah.
that, especially
Some
when
people
they're
undereat,
stressed.
some people overeat
Yeah.
during stress. So it really does
It's
affect
just
you.
so many
ties in.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
And you, it's so funny because my mom, this is my mom. She had diabetes. Well, she got diabetes. What age were you? Like, you were diagnosed at
30, maybe 37 or something like
Oh, so just last year. Okay.
that. Right. That's last year.
right.
Last year.
Just the other day. Right.
And it was a type 2. No, type 1. And I'm like, I wasn't born
The one that
with
you're
it.
supposed to be born with. Right.
I'm like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
And no one really could, well, I don't know scientifically if they could really say what that would be. I don't know. If
Or
you would
how
know,
that-
or how.
right.
But that was a little tough because you don't know what to do. And it actually took years to figure it out. I done went through so many dietitians with the dietitians.
Did you? Because I was gonna ask you.
I did.
Because I kind of figured like you were. It felt like you were figuring everything out.
I
on your
was,
own.
but they weren't helping me. I don't know
you
what they
didn't
were
have-
talking about. They weren't helping me, and then they were giving me, oh well, you eat this amount. You have to, I don't know, the scale to do the insulin and things like that. But every time I use the scale, because I don't eat a certain type of food, I don't eat a lot of the food, I went low, like 50s, doing their scale, doing what they tell me to do.
Right.
Oh, eat this 10, do 10 if you're here. And I'm like, but
not
I keep
working for
telling you
me.
it's not working for me. And she would say, you keep going low. They don't know what they're talking about. So she would get so upset. But I
Because
keep
she would be like,
low.
yeah,
Like super weak.
she would be like cold and shivering. And I'm like, wait, what is happening?
Right.
Here? And I could barely hear her voice. I'm like,
Oh my God.
what's going on? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
To find out salmon actually leveled me out more than anything because I was eating a lot of salmon. But I'm giving myself 10 in insulin, 10 and 12 in insulin. But I'm only having salmon salad, it was just, or I don't, it was so many things.
Yeah.
So
That's exactly it. Diabetes is such a big world. A lot of specialties within medicine and just healthcare overall, just health overall.
Yeah.
We have all these organs, and there's a reason why doctors go to school for decades sometimes, just to learn about
it all.
and master one organ because
Yes.
there's so much. And then you have the complexity of when one organ is acting up versus another and how that affects the whole body and etc.
Right.
Yep.
With diabetes, it's no different. It's such a complicated disease. It's a metabolic disease, so it's kind of underlying to almost everything.
Wow.
Yes.
And when your diabetes is out of control, per se, then it can affect everything else. Now, working with a dietitian or a healthcare team, I like to ask everyone who is diagnosed to have like their hands down team, their diabetes dietitian, because not all of us specialize in diabetes.
Yeah.
You have your endocrinologist.
Yes.
Especially if you're in the double digits with A1C or it's been like a long time since you've been diagnosed. Your primary care provider might be the person who's managing your diabetes, especially
Yeah.
if it's not like way up there in terms of risk and not too many complications. You're seeing your dentist or oral hygienist
Yeah.
regularly. So they can see things in your mouth that can give us a preview of what's going on with your heart and your kidneys, for example.
Yes.
Your optometrist, same thing. They can see some things there that's less invasive than as opposed to you doing some big scan or something like that.
Yes.
So you want to have these people on hand as part of your team. And most of the
lot of people.
times, yeah, we
And I
are
do.
communicating with each
So
other.
funny.
Wow.
Yeah, which is really good. Now, the dietitian is the one you might see much more often
Yeah.
because you're eating every day.
Yes.
And those numbers are fluctuating every day.
Every day.
Now, your plan is never like in concrete. It's supposed to be very dynamic and fluid. So if you're a person where like your risk is super high, your A1C is in the double digits, you have other things going on, or you're high risk of lows, because low blood sugar is more harmful to you now versus high blood sugar is a little harmful to you later.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So you need to know how to correct. So you have your survival skills down packed.
Yep.
And then whatever the plan is, we refine. Hey, this plan wasn't working. I've been having these lows. Okay, this is what we're going to do instead.
Yeah.
And that's something your dietitian would help you with based on your preferences, what you can afford. I'm not going to tell you to go eat salmon if you only have a budget of $10 a week.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
it depends on what's
have to-
available to you.
Right.
If you can even procure these items, something like saltfish bojol, or a Trini dish.
Right.
I don't recommend it to many people, but I do have West Indian and even West African clientele that would be more familiar with that, and this is part of their diet.
Yeah.
And for those who are looking for something new and different, then I can introduce them to cross-cultural options just
Yeah.
to widen the variety.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's going to be based on your preferences, what you have access to, what you just feel like in the moment.
Right.
Make sure we account for your allergies.
Yes.
And educate you on individually how do these particular foods impact your blood sugar. And once you are aware of it, then you can kind of start learning those problem solving skills on your own, so you can kind of adjust in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even the exact same meal a different time of day could impact you
It sure
differently.
could.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
had a different activity that day, it'll impact you differently.
Yeah.
You stressed out that day, it'll impact you
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah.
Even when you
Yeah.
walk and you exercise.
Yeah.
And fruit.
Yeah.
You know, and I love me some mango, but that's
Yeah.
going to shoot you all over.
You can still have
But
it.
you can. But
You
it's
can
just-
still have it, right? So dose and frequency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once there's so much to learn. Like I'm not
Yes.
trying to hand everybody 5
Right.
years of training in
Right.
3 weeks of seeing an RD. No.
Right.
But we're going to start with your problem solving,
Yes.
your basic survival skills. You know how to correct for low blood sugar, for example, things that can really immediately impact you.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of take it on there. We build on things. We build on things. See what you're doing. Kind of learn how this impacts you. And it usually takes a couple weeks of visits before you really get to a place where you can be stabilized. Yeah.
That is so
Wow.
true.
We need to look into that for
That's
you,
crazy.
literally.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if my come your
Tonya.
way.
Exactly.
Because when you get someone who absolutely positively know and care.
And cares. Yeah.
And care.
So that's the thing, like you said, you had family members, because I know one of the things I was going to ask you was that what was the focus on why you wanted to choose diabetes and, to education in particular. And I know that you had family members that went through these things. So is it
Yeah.
something that you've seen? And
I didn't see it like up close, like real close, where it was the worst thing that some people might think about, which would be like amputations and gangrene.
yeah.
I haven't seen that up close, but it does exist in my immediate family. It's present today. It does
Right.
exist. I have family members who've had minor amputations, toes or whatnot. I remember one of my godmothers, her mom. I could have been like somewhere between 8 and 10 years old. And she was always getting ill, and she was always going to the hospital. And every time she came back, they took some limbs off.
Oh no.
And I didn't understand what was going
happening.
on.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of thought it was an age thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, is this what happened when you become
Right.
of advanced age? They just start taking limbs? Like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
Like, wait, I don't want to get old.
They just taking your left.
No one's explaining anything to me.
Yeah.
Because in a West Indian household, you're young, mind your business.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
For the
Yeah.
most part, which is another thing. Like I feel like we need to take more care in educating children from young, having
Right.
healthy
Yes.
discussions.
1000%, yeah.
I'm not just telling you don't have candy because I'm trying to punish you.
Right.
Right.
I'm letting you know too much of this is not great for
Yep.
your health. Like I feel like if we have those early interventions, it'll be
Yes.
easier
Yeah.
for children to adopt that mindset of a healthy living lifestyle as they grow older.
Yeah.
But anyway, so back to so that was one of my earliest recollection of,
Okay.
and I think I remember hearing diabetes later with the amputations and whatnot. I think when she was buried, she didn't have much limbs left. I don't remember exactly.
Wow.
She's taking
Yeah.
She's
Taking it
taking
away.
everything.
Yeah. I mean, even my grandmother had diabetes, among other things. I didn't even meet her. She died at 28.
Oh, she's
Oh
so
wow,
young.
she was so young. Wow.
I
28.
didn't even get to meet her. My mom was super young. Yeah. And there's more. I have uncles, aunts with other challenges. Yeah.
So this is an important
oh
career.
yeah, yeah.
For
so
you, right.
I mean, just seeing it, I just felt like, why is this so pervasive? Why? I feel like it's everywhere now, as they have more issues, and you usually don't know about it until it's like real bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Besides that, it's a secret.
Yeah.
Right? No one's telling all their business. I want everybody to know they got a little bit of sugar. Like that's another thing they might
Right.
say.
Yeah, it's
like
the-
ain't no little bit of nothing.
Right.
Right.
You're borderline. But I'm seriously. You gotta take it serious. Borderline means it's questioning. I tell people that all the time.
I'm like, I hear you, but hear me out.
Let me-
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't
Nip
play.
it in the bud.
Right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So funny.
And then just more broadly in the state of affairs of the country, like there's so much of us that have diabetes walking around undiagnosed.
I know.
Yeah, 6 in 10. That's 3 in 5. And it's only getting worse. It's only getting worse.
Wow.
So I think my job's secure for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, for a long time.
You'll be needed for a long time.
Very long time.
We're going to keep eating. So
They gonna keep doing
you're good.
Very
That's
Oh
so
my
crazy.
Yeah, so I figured, I'd be okay here. But it is, and like you said, care. People need to be cared for
Yeah.
in healthcare.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't even know how to care for themselves. So
Exactly.
you got to help them
Yeah.
They
to do
don't.
that.
Help them get there.
They don't know how to. It's very tough. I tell you, this is a really great conversation.
It's needed. That's the
So
thing.
needed. Yes.
Especially in our community.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do have one question because you talked about patient-centered, realistic approach. What does that look like in your practice?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that. I feel like I feel so strongly about being patient-centered. Being patient-centered means going beyond the research,
Oh, yes.
going beyond what the studies say. Yes, dietetics is an evidence-based profession. Yes, we are science-backed, and we use those as guidelines to help us navigate care and options that can work for our patients.
Yes.
However, like we say, preference. Yes, the research says if we eat X amount of grass and X amount of lean proteins and exercise X amount of minutes per week, that we can live healthy and long lives. But what if I can't work out because I have back pain? And it's not because I'm overweight. Maybe I have some type of scoliosis or some kind of lumbar issue that's affecting me from being mobile. Then
Right.
what? Right? So you have to be able to tweak based on someone's ability or disability or preference or access or knowledge or whatever else. So when I tell patients, I don't care where you get your proteins from when we're like building a balanced meal and we're talking about different types of proteins. Not everybody wants salmon and broccoli.
You're right.
There's more to life.
Right.
Right.
And brown rice.
Right.
Yeah.
And quinoa.
Right.
There's so much more to life.
God, that's so funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly what the meals be
Right. That's literally.
every day.
And that's what you might see in posters oftentimes too.
Yes,
And luckily our academic leaders like the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics and some other like the diabetes academic leaders in our space that we follow their guidelines. They're doing better in building more cultural diversity in how we project what a healthy meal can look like.
Yes.
So like say in parts of Africa, people eat mopani worms. I don't eat those worms. They look like caterpillars. I'll try it someday when I go over there.
Really?
Right now, it's not part of my diet.
Right.
But I'm like, hey, if that's what you're eating, great. It's a great source of protein.
Is it? I've heard of that
Yeah.
before.
I think you can find it in moms.
Really?
Yeah. So they have like crickets and
I've
Oh,
heard that.
insects and stuff.
I heard.
Okay.
I
Red
don't.
ants, cyans.
I don't personally want to do it.
Right.
But like you said,
I might try it
Everybody has
someday.
their
I've never.
thing.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna yuck your yum. If you're eating
Right.
worms or bats or caterpillars or whatever,
You get
hey,
your protein
that's
in.
you
I'm
get it.
concerned
Right.
yeah. Are your clinical needs being met? Are your
Yes.
nutritional needs being
Yeah.
met in whatever shape or fashion that looks like?
It's
Yeah. So that's what we kind of do is making sure that you're making a decision, that you're part of the decision-making process. I'm not just telling you, okay, I hear your problems, now go do this.
This is what you need to do. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'm going to ask you, how does this sound like? Can you
Yes.
do this? What types of food do you like? What's your budget looking like? Like, what else is going on in the household? So say, like, for example, some federal programs like SNAP and whatnot may use things like income to determine how much benefits you may have. And there's a lot of people in the middle who might make $1 too much to not have access to these resources, but their expenses may be greater than another person because of dependence, whether formal or informal. They may have children, of course, but maybe they help out the neighbor with their kids because their neighbors are also food insecure. Little things like that. Like no one's counting someone's expenses. No one's tallying up how much co-pays and how much medical out-of-pocket costs this person may have.
Yeah.
Because to be ill is very expensive.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it's happening to the poorest of us and in higher, it's disproportionate, and especially in Black and brown communities, of course. It's just the highest in our communities. So there's so much. So we really have to dive into everything that's going on with this person. Just what's going on in the house. Do you even feel safe when you're at home?
Yes, exactly.
How can you pay attention to what's cooking if you're worried about domestic abuse?
Right.
You're right.
There's so much.
There's so many
There's
things
so
that can
much.
happen.
So
So many aspects
I
to
try to touch on as many things as they're comfortable talking about.
Yeah.
And then just kind of work around that and try to get the thing that's like the lowest hanging fruit. I'm like, okay, if right now housing is your main concern, us talking about building a plate's not going to get you much farther right
That's
now.
true.
Let's try to find you housing or resources that can connect you to.
I love that.
something
And
that can help you
you'll take
housing.
that on and help them with
Yes,
that.
I will connect them with someone like a social worker or
That's
someone else who,
amazing.
because we need to address the barriers. And then you can come back and deal with this because we have bigger fish to fry.
Right,
Right
right. And I'm still here for you.
for
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
And that's where the caring part comes in.
Yep.
And we were kind of like missing that, like with
That
your
piece of it.
journey. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's like, it just felt like we were just like,
Yeah. Nobody
just
cared.
trying some things and sticking and seeing if it sticked. And like, it was just like hard. Now I feel like you're finally at a place where you kind of like know certain things. I think someone like Tornia would like definitely like
It
be able
could be
to
a great thing.
transform
Yeah.
transform
Your whole
you.
lifestyle.
Trust
Yeah.
But it's and another thing that you said, Tornia, was it's being ill is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about it like just in a regular way, forget about the world. If you're sick, right, and you're ill and you have all these things that are going on with you, you're not able to work the way you would normally.
You're right.
You're not, you're at a disadvantage.
Already.
I wonder why we charge so. If I could be the president for a day, I wonder
What would you do?
why.
Exactly.
I wonder why we tax and charge so much to those people who can't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
It's not
mean, the way you
fair.
said that
Yeah.
just really
Yeah.
resonated with me.
Yeah.
I
Poverty
think
is
it's the
criminalized.
system. I think the system is designed to keep us at the bottom. It's the food chain. I think it's designed purposefully, honestly.
Yeah.
My
Right.
opinion.
Right. No,
I agree with that
yeah.
one.
Poverty is criminalized.
It is.
We know that. I mean, even something as having a bank account. If you don't have $3,000 or whatever the threshold is, then you're charged
Yep.
more money
Yep.
for
Right.
not having enough.
But not
money.
having
Right.
enough.
That doesn't make it. You can't cash your check that you just worked so hard for
Right.
if
And
you
they're
don't
gonna-
have that amount of money in your account. I just worked for it. I got it.
Right.
That's why I just worked. What do you mean? Like,
And they taking everything.
Late fees.
Yeah,
you,
late
you don't
fees.
have the money to pay right
Yeah.
now. You're one day late, and for that, you're gonna pay more.
And then I remember Bank of America is charging you every day.
oh my
Well, every
gosh,
week.
yes. That's why I have to switch from them.
But I think they had to stop that.
They
But
did
you're
too.
right.
Oh.
And then you got to
'Cause that's
now
crazy.
if you don't have a certain amount of thing going into your bank account, they charge you to have the bank
gosh.
account.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? It's a fee for everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's a fee for everything. Oh God.
Yeah.
And that's why. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say even the care part. You know, when I first found out that I was a diabetic, the doctor, I was in California, and the doctor told me, "Oh, now I know what your problem is." I'm saying, "Well, what is my problem?" Because I was always really, really tired and exhausted. He says, "You're severe diabetic." I said, "Okay, well, what do that mean?" "You're just a severe diabetic. It's just severe." What do that mean?
Wow.
mean?
Wow.
What do you-
Didn't
I-
sit and take the time.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know what a diabetic
Yeah.
was. You know, you hear
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
And I didn't
You
even hear
don't
about it as a
know.
kid. 'Cause
Yeah.
but my family don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it was shocking
It was a
when
shock.
it was on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what is a severe diabetic? And he didn't say much. And I wound up in the hospital maybe about a month later at
Oh, no.
1,000. I was at 1,000 blood sugar.
Wow.
It was
890 or 900.
I think it was 800
Because
890
1,000's a
something.
lot.
or
It's
something.
still a lot.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
It was like
Gosh.
800 or 900, one of those. And when we took you to the hospital, they were so angry at her, not even knowing that she had no clue that she was a diabetic, right?
I just
So
heard
I'm-
severe.
I'm pregnant, and then I have my brother with me and my boyfriend at the time, and we're here, and we're like, well, she's delusional, she's
Yes.
thirsty, and she's trying to
really
drink my
thirsty.
hand, she's trying to drink my
Oh my
fingers,
gosh.
and she's just out of it, and then they're like, well, ma'am, you can leave. I'm like, I'm not leaving because they're like, why would she let it get this high? And people just don't care.
And I had no clue.
Wow.
And I'm
You
like,
know?
no, like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And they were just being so rude and mean to her. And I would
judgmental.
not leave. I'm
And
like,
Yeah.
yes, they were being very judgmental. And I didn't know what they was talking about. I didn't know what a diet. I'm telling you, I was.
and if you didn't know, I didn't know.
right, if she
Right.
didn't know.
So I'm like, what do
so
you
we
mean?
both like, what are you saying?
Right.
Well, you were out of it. That's why I didn't want to leave. But
No, I'm happy
it
you
was
didn't.
just, yeah. So all that to say,
Mhm.
you caring.
It
Yeah.
matters.
Connecting them with different resources it's just so important.
Yeah.
So.
And also just informing the person
Mm-hmm.
because no one's more stressed than the person who's going through it themselves.
Right.
So you got to have that compassion,
Yes,
especially as a newly diagnosed person. So for you to have the diagnosis and then 1 month later end up in the hospital, what seems like DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis.
Yes,
It was,
I
seems
feel
like
like
you
it
had.
was. Yeah.
Probably some better care and nurturing
Would have
would have
avoided.
prevented that.
Yeah.
And you're not the only person to have been in a position such as
Really,
that.
this is so sad.
So
That's so
yeah,
sad.
I have met people who've had diabetes for decades and still don't understand what's going on with their bodies.
See, that
Which
was
is really
me.
sad. So I will assess. Okay, what do you know about this? Do you understand what's going on with you? Like, explain it to me because I'm gonna
Yes.
check
Yes.
to confirm you understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, I have sugar and I can't eat fruit, and sometimes that's the thing that you might hear most often. And I try to break it down. And if you really understand something, you can make it easy to
Yeah.
understand for someone else.
Right.
Right.
Especially if that person is of lower literacy level. So you want to make sure they understand at least the very, very basics.
Yes, you're right.
So empowering you with that education up
Yes.
front. Well, this is what's going on. This is what's going on with your pancreas or your body, based on your diagnosis in the moment.
Yes.
And then direct you to because this is probably
The resource.
inpatient
Right.
or urgent care,
Yeah.
but direct you to those other resources that can follow up
Yes.
more routinely
Right.
Yep.
to make sure you're well cared for.
Right.
Right.
And there's too much disconnect sometimes.
so-
They're not
so much,
connected
yeah.
to the resources.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do get the resources and you don't realize it. So
Yeah.
sometimes, maybe not in your case,
Right.
the doctors might say, okay, do this, do that, or you're in a clinic setting or something like that.
Right.
And they might print out a whole lot of information. But then there's a barrier of what if this person can't read very well? What if this person
Doesn't
can't
understand
see very
it.
well
Right.
to read the thing and they just kind of
Send you on your
dump
way.
over everything else and that is just not enough. So there's you got to make sure you say it to them, they say it back, you understand what's going on, you try to inflict the gravitas of the situation, like, listen, I know this is scary, this is new, but I really need you to follow up on, if there's nothing else to take away from here today, you need to do at least this part you need to do.
Right,
To kind of really encourage you to follow through with your own care, because
You're right.
you're going to be that person in charge of your own care.
Right.
Right,
You gotta
absolutely
advocate
right.
for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's something else, y'all. You hear
Yeah.
me?
So,
Like,
So-
wow.
Yeah, it is. Makes such a difference.
It makes a
Yeah.
And then the
big
judgment
difference.
and the there's a lot of that. I think as a whole we're improving. Not judging someone, not immediately, like you might have heard people who are overweight or in larger bodies.
Yeah, they
They
do.
might go to a clinic or urgent care for an ear infection and they're told to lose weight, or for a headache and they're told to lose weight,
Yeah,
or something like
that's
that.
not even what
And
they
just
went for,
right, because
yeah.
that's just being biased. Like all you see is, to me, it's no
Going based off of
different
what you
than
see.
discrimination by race.
You're
like
right.
you're just going off of what you see, and then you're
Right.
skewed
Yep.
in your care to something that's not as relevant
Exactly.
in the moment. So you want to go beyond what you see and really try to listen to the person and encourage them to ask questions.
Yeah.
Because many people have questions when they go see their providers.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't remember the questions. They don't write it down. Sometimes the providers have only a little bit of time. So they feel rushed. Now, the
Right.
provider's not
Right.
trying to rush you. They unfortunately have a lot of things that they need to do that is in line with billing and
Right.
coding, and to make sure that you don't get slapped with an unnecessary bill.
Right,
But it's
right.
just not the setting for a lot of education.
Right.
So that's why that transition of care
Okay.
from whether it's an inpatient setting or an urgent care setting or an emergency room setting
Yes.
Yeah.
to that outpatient setting
Right.
where you can have routine visits and you can have
Right.
that time and space to be educated on what's going on with yourself.
Right.
Right. Absolutely right.
Yeah, that is
That's amazing to
it's
say that.
definitely amazing. And I'm happy that you had that household with all of the love and seeing all those things so that way you can get into this field and also give the love and care too.
Yeah.
So I think this is a great time for us to actually stop. And we're actually going to do a part 2. So join us next week with Tornia, registered dietitian, and so much more. Let's continue the conversation. Thank you so much for joining on A Divine Note.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Remember to subscribe, like, and share, and follow us on all social media platforms.